that Christian Democrats
I'm worried
are
about.
in
I'm
Germany.
worried about 45%. I'm worried about.
Yeah, but who is this? This is again the problem with the paternal approach to the Arab world. Isn't it time that the Arab world self-determine their future without Israel or the United States?
I think they're going to, but
do?
that doesn't mean that I have no reason to be concerned about some alternatives.
Tom, do you think the Arabs want to drive Israel into the sea? You think that's their ultimate goal?
Nobody is suggesting that Israel, with all of its physical power and might, is about to be driven into the sea. I think that there is an opportunity now for Israel and the Palestinians and the United States, which has been notably reluctant in this, to do something that they haven't done, is to put Palestinians on the same road that the Egyptians are on.
Yeah, but it seems to me that we're as if we haven't really caught up with what just happened over the last 6 weeks. I mean, don't you think now, with the Egyptian regime imploding, that there is no more peace process?
I don't think so.
You think the United States will continue to dictate the same peace process that we had
isn't
before?
going away. The United States has never tried to dictate a
We're
peace
not talking
process.
about Israel going away. We're talking about the peace process going away.
Maybe the United States should be more specific about what it supports in a peace process.
Do you think now Egypt will lift its blockade of Gaza?
Oh, of course. Are you kidding? It's probably already happening.
We need to wind this up. I just need to hear your last thought. Are you optimistic about a change in American foreign policy towards the Arab world? Are we moving towards a better Middle East? Rashid?
I hope that just as people in the Arab world are breaking the chains of fear and are willing to confront repressive police states, so people in this country will start thinking about some of the formulas that have been fed to us, and will start to think openly and intelligently about what's really going on in the Arab world.
It's a time of great crisis. Old policies continued in times of great crisis produce disasters. Of course there has to be change in our approach, and there has to be an accommodation, and there are great opportunities. The work of a diplomat is to take challenges and make them into opportunities. We have a lot of fertile field to work in now. Let us hope that that moves.
Sai, the Chinese word for crisis involves opportunity, actually.
Oh, really? Well, I think there's no question. This is a huge
danger
opportunity.
And opportunity.
This may not, I'm not sure what we'll do about it, but this is a huge opportunity. Among other things, perhaps it'll drive the Israelis into a formula, or at least an understanding that resolving that crisis with Palestine is really important. It's going to be much more difficult now, but the pressure is going to be on
I'm not sure
them.
about that. That maybe in the long term this will help.
And
on
this disagreement, we're going to have to wind it up.
I love your optimism, Rashid. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining Empire. And I will be back with the last thought. I hereby declare null and void the term moderate when referring to corrupt, authoritarian, and oppressive regimes, because they are friends, allies, or clients of the United States. Anyone caught using it will be labeled hypocrite, ignorant, or my favorite, ignorant hypocrite. President Mubarak and Tunisia's Ben Ali, like their predecessors, Iran's Shah, Chile's Pinochet, and Philippines' Marcos, shan't be called moderates, rather extreme dictators, and remembered as the enemies of the people everywhere. It is high time to reverse this old and misleading imperial construct. No longer will rogue regimes be defined according to their proximity to Western powers. Rather, Washington and other influentials will be called extremists if they continue to support oppressive clients. And that's the way it goes. Until next time.
Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter. Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter.
All the news, all the time. AlJazeera.net/English. In 1984, a new energy company was born, here in Qatar. In 1996, it began production, bringing pride and recognition to the nation and destined to touch the lives of billions of people around the world. Learning quickly from the world's experts, by the end of the decade, we'll be producing 42 million tons of liquefied natural gas a year for markets in Europe, Asia, and North America. Energy that is reliable. Energy that is safe. We are proud of our achievement and technological breakthroughs. We are proud of our people. Most importantly, we are proud of our responsibility to deliver energy to the world.
This is Al Jazeera.
Hello there and welcome to the News Hour live from Doha. I'm Nick Clark from Al Jazeera News Centres here in Doha, in London and in Washington, D.C. These are the main global stories. Protesters play on while Egyptian authorities do all they can to get the country back to normal. President Mubarak offers government workers financial incentives in a bid to win popular support. Signed and sealed, but South Sudan will have to wait at least 5 months until Africa's newest nation is delivered.
I'm Lauren Taylor in London with the top stories in Europe, including...
A process like this surely lets you understand who your friends are.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is in court fighting extradition to Sweden on sexual abuse allegations.
And I'm Shihab Ratansi in Washington. The top story from the Americas, expanding a media empire. AOL is set to buy online newspaper The Huffington Post for more than $300 million.
It's gone 11 o'clock in the evening in Egypt, where protests aimed at ousting the president show no sign of ending. Hundreds have been killed after 2 weeks of unrest. Despite talks between the government and the opposition, thousands are still demonstrating. Let's take a look now at where things stand. Well, Hosni Mubarak held his first fully-fledged cabinet meeting on Monday. No major decisions were taken, but a 15% salary increase for government employees was announced. The president sacked his old cabinet a little over a week ago. But the protests go on. These were the scenes in Cairo's Liberation, or Tahrir Square, earlier on Monday night. There have been calls for another mass march on Tuesday, but there are concerns among the pro-democracy protesters that their numbers are dwindling. Also on Monday, the senior Google executive, Wael Ghonim, was released. And this video, uploaded to youtube.com, purport to show the moment that he was captured on January the 28th. Well, we'll speak to our reporter in Cairo in just a moment. But first, Jackie Rowley reports on the tribute paid to a journalist killed during last week's violence.
The death of a reporter. Ahmed Mahmoud was shot and killed as he took photographs of the police beating demonstrators near Tahrir Square. Inside the building, the president of the journalist syndicate comes to speak to the widow. Suddenly, he is mobbed by an angry crowd, hounded out as a crony of Hosni Mubarak. Numerous journalists have been beaten up and detained in the last 2 weeks. The one man so far to pay with his life worked for a state Egyptian newspaper.
For Egyptian journalist, Ahmed Mahmoud is a martyr of this revolution. They're not only mourning his death, they're also demanding that President Mubarak step down.
The journalists' unions say Ahmed Mahmoud was deliberately targeted by the security forces. They want his killer put on trial.
We want justice for Ahmed Mahmoud. We want justice for all the people now in Tahrir Square and all Egypt. We want justice for this youth who bring this revolution, and someone want to steal it from
The marchers are now close to Tahrir Square. They reach the first barricade. The anti-government demonstrators are tense. They fear that Mubarak supporters may be trying to pass. But the procession is allowed through.
On Wednesday, hundreds of young men were killed by the horses and the weapons. And I was there, I saw them. So it is not just one.